Hey everybody, it's Fruitful Asset here, leading intuitive business strategist and women's transformation catalyst. I'm super excited to be coming to you live today. If you're watching with me live, please do say hey in the comments. Coming to you live via StreamYard, so you may want to allow StreamYard to show me who you are so that I can say hello and engage with you. And if you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay as well. And I'd really love to invite you to engage, drop any comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. It's one that's close to my heart, and it's something that's been coming up a little bit in the last few months. So really keen to dive into this topic around how empowering women disempowers men, or does empowering women disempower men. So I've had the experience more than once in my career where men have shared with me, a feeling of discontent, or like they're being at some disadvantage, or they're being disempowered by the work that I do empowering women. And there's, you may kind of be watching this and feel like you want to instantly dismiss it. But I'd love to dive deeper into it. So I feel like there are probably a lot of reasons we could go into around this, why some men may feel this way. I think that, like with any movement or any kind of element of humanity, can be both a conscious and an unconscious element. So the feminist movement, for example, there can be a more conscious element, a more love-based element, and there can be a more unconscious element, a more potentially ego-based aspect as well. And I feel like at times in the feminist movement, there has potentially been kind of a separation, or we're better than you kind of experience going on. So I have compassion and some understanding for where some of that's coming from. The other aspect as well, of course, is when we're coming from a wounded place or a more healed place in relation to that movement. So, so something that I would love to and I'd love to hear what you think about this. Do you feel like empowering women disempowers men? If you're a man watching this, how do you feel about the feminist movement now? Let's talk about now. And as a woman, how do you feel about it? So I'm going to share a little bit about my kind of feelings, more diving deep into this, being, very much in the experience of women and watching them transform, watching their consciousness raise, also my own experience of having this as well. So before I dive fully into this, I want to let you know that we have our Insight to Impact retreat kicking off on the 6th or the 7th of Feb. Super, super excited about this. It is unlike anything that we've ever done before. If you're already joining us in that retreat, welcome and congratulations for honoring yourself in this way. If you are haven't joined us yet, please do. I'll drop the link in the comments and I'll share a bit more towards the end. But it's going to be absolutely amazing. We're looking at identifying and owning essentially exactly what your unique soul impact style is, because we all do this differently, right? The way that you do your impact, the way that you elevate your soul work in the world doesn't have to look like the way I do it, doesn't have to look like the way anyone else does it. You get to decide, and it all depends on some really specific factors that are innate to you that we're going to be diving, way more into. So the practice of what I see in empowering women and how this actually affects the men in their life, this is what I want to speak to now. So I'd love to let you in on a little bit of my own experience. So when a couple of years ago I was feeling, really disempowered. I was, hiding my light. I was pleasing others more than I was, focusing on myself. All of these kinds of things, which is pretty stock standard for when we go through as women, maybe men too. Can't speak directly to that experience, but if you're watching and you're a man, do let us know. But we go through these kind of phases, can go through these kind of ebbs and flows of being super dialed in and connected to ourselves, and therefore able to be in that space of like, yeah. And then also we can go through those phases in our lives, I'm talking long term, of being less connected to ourselves, maybe for one reason or another. Our attention has been drawn outside of us for an extended period, then we become disconnected from ourselves, and are not in that really kind of self-responsible, aligned, connected, grounded, tuned in, tapped in kind of place. So when I was experiencing this in my own life, when I was feeling really disempowered and really like, when was I going to get a break, and what was it going to look like, and all of this kind of stuff, I was feeling resentful. I was exhibiting, whether I would have liked to admit it or not, and I can pretty much guarantee you it would have been not. Passive aggressive, those kinds of behaviors, not even intentionally, but just by nature of not serving myself first. I was also feeling, kind of over emotional. So I'd be quite reactive, speaking specifically in relation to my partnership with Tom. If he kind of said something, and it could tap into a part of me that wasn't healed, that made me feel rejected, that made me feel, that's one of the things that I have had to deal with, all these different things, then I'd have this kind of overly emotional reaction. Feeling this way also had me victimizing myself and, being in a space of blaming others for my experience. So this is just to name a few. Like, I'm sure that there are more there, and I'd love to invite you, if you're watching, Divine Woman, let me know in the comments what else you've noticed happens when women are in this kind of disempowered space. So what I'm speaking about today, obviously, these aspects that I've just shared relate both to how our own kind of perception of the world and our own experience of the world, as well as how we operate in relationship to others. And yes, that relates to, the men in our lives, if we've got a male partner or husband, but also to, everyone in our lives, our children, our friends, our family, so on and so forth. And there's a truck going past, so I hope that's not too distracting for you. So what I see with the women that I work with, through the transformational process that we go through, is that when they step into the full power of their sacred selves, of their energy, bringing forward all of who they are, and of their soul work as well, their relationships benefit too. And I can tell you that this has been a part of my own experience as well. So they speak their truth. They're not afraid to hold back. They're not they're not hiding anymore. They're not showing up in their different roles in life, as mother, as partner, as daughter, as carer, as whatever, colleague, as a different person, because we know that takes a whole lot of energy, right, to be someone different in all of these roles. And we want to conserve that energy. We want to bring it in so that we can magnetize, so that we can bring it into a a 0 point space, right? So what else happens when women step fully into their sacred power, right? They have healthier boundaries. They're able to be clear about what is and is not okay. And this is all about doing this from a place of compassion and love. It's not about doing it in that kind of unhealed, wounded way that I spoke about before, that's kind of, more about separation and pushing back and pushing away and all those kinds of things. What else do? They get to balance their own needs with the needs of others. So we know at a logical level that we can't serve anyone else until we fully serve ourselves. But at an embodied level, this and a level where we're actually living this in our lives, it's a different thing, right? So they come to balance their own needs with the needs of others and are able to be in that space of serving self and serving others and wavering around that balance, right? This is not a perfect practice by any means. It's a wavering around center. It's a wavering around that balance. It's a kind of push and pull. It's a living organism. This is life. We are humans, and so are our relationships, right? Full of life, full of energy and push and pull and flow and all of these kinds of things. So what else happens? They take full self-responsibility for what happens in their life. Now, this is one of the most foundational aspects that is what I look for when I'm going to work with women, when I'm going to support women in their sacred work. It's someone who is self-responsible, because we can't, as transformational leaders of light, we can't do the work for our clients. They have to meet us at least halfway, right? So these women take full self-responsibility for what happens in their life. They are the creator. They get to decide not just how things are going to look, how they want things to feel, but how they're going to respond to life. Are they going to come from a place of life is happening to them, or life is happening for them, right? We get to decide if we experience life as magical or as misery. So what else happens? They become more loving, more nurturing, and more compassionate to themselves and to everyone around them. And this is from a place of true self-love and acceptance. It's not from this kind of seeking external validation side. We're not doing it for the sake of wanting to have someone experience us and give us something in return, but we're doing it from a place of overflow, from having served ourselves first. So what I see, bringing this all together, and I'd love if there are any other pieces that you're like, yes, and this is also what I see when I've stepped into, my full power, my full authenticity. This has also shifted for me. Let me know in the comments. I'll come back and read all of them and respond. So bringing this all together, what I see is that when women's consciousness raises, men benefit. Not just men, but everyone around them benefits. Likewise, when men's consciousness raises, women benefit, right? Not just women, but everyone around those men benefits. So this is the this is the stage that we are in right now with humanity. So all transformational work is beneficial to humanity as a whole and is required at this time. I'm going to sound cliched in saying more than ever, required at this time more than ever. But I feel like, it's more true than ever right now in what's going on in the world and in, some of the things that we're seeing play out, right? So this transformation, when I speak about transformation, it's not just meaning like active transformation, but also integration. This integration that takes place as a part of this transformation, like the passive aspect of transformation, those times when we're not actively transforming, but we're taking that time to cocoon and become our next beautiful butterfly. That's some of the most powerful work that we do. So in kind of closing out this conversation, to the men who may feel potentially left out of the women's empowerment movement and the work that I do, I want to say that we've got you, that you are an integral part of this work too, that we are all in this together, right? In the raising of the consciousness on the planet. But that we as women, my experience, woman with a male partner, that we need to learn to serve ourselves before we can fully be in union with you. We need to come into our divine feminine in order to invite and combine with the divine masculine in you. So, as always, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this topic. Please feel free to share in the comments, and I will share a little bit more about our Insight to Impact retreat now. So we are gathering for 5 days. This is going to be absolutely incredible. This is the link to go to, womenofImpact.com.au/retreat. This is our Insight to Impact retreat. It's 5 days. There's going to be incredible live training with me for 5 days straight. You get a bonus one-on-one half-hour success strategy session with one of my incredible success coaches, and that is hugely valuable. There's an opportunity to connect and to network. Women from our past retreats have, and we had about probably 1,500 women come through our retreats last year, our virtual retreats, absolutely amazing. And women have valued these retreats at over $1,500. So it's really an incredible experience. There's an opportunity for great healing, for transformation. There's guided meditation and activations. So there's a lot of both strategic and energetic work and support that's happening in this container. So I would absolutely love to invite you to come and to really own your unique style of impact, your soul impact style, and to amplify your zone of divinity and truly scale your soul work in this year 2022, because there is so much time ahead of us. And I can tell you from my experience of last year that so very much can be created in the space of 12 months. So as always, I'm sending you so much love. Mwah. And I hope you've enjoyed this conversation today. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And I really look forward to seeing you in our Insight to Impact retreat. Okay? Bye bye.